One morning you wake up. The familiar chorus of the forest has been replaced by explosions you have never heard before. Sounds that vibrate through your chest. Your own kinsmen are attacking your village, wielding smoke belching metal sticks. Inevitably, you are defeated. Before entering the video, please subscribe for my new channel. We are brandly new and we really need your supports. After weeks of a long march where the earth beneath your feet mingles with blood, you reach the coast. There you see a man with skin as pale as you could never imagine, wearing strange clothes, talking to those who sold your tribe. On one side, sparkling liquor bottles, and those dead spitting metal sticks are being unloaded from the ship. On the other, you and your brothers are being packed into the dark halls. In that moment, you realize you are no longer a human being. You are cargo exchanged for a bottle of rum or a rifle, filling their ships with more product. Slave traders packed people in until there was no room to move. Humans were forced to relieve themselves on one another. Thus, who managed to survive 2 or 3 months on that ship, fed only on potatoes and sugar, could consider themselves lucky because 15 to 25% of them died before ever reaching the shore. Or perhaps were those who died actually the lucky ones? 1600s were years when world trade changed, thrust into a competition based on production and profit. Giants like England, Portugal, Spain, and France had turned the New World into their production hub, providing immense wealth to their mainlands. Traditional landowners could no longer find a place in this changing world. But she is fortunate enough to have a coastline began to earn incredible fortunes. Thus, who could produce cheaply and sell dominated the market. A few products defined the main market: sugar, coffee, and cotton. There was a labor shortage for the heavy machinery of the American plantations, a gap that would soon be filled by a very dark process. Africans on the coast were considered fortunate by the traders because Europeans built ports and warehouses there. In exchange for the captives brought to them, Europeans gave them drinks that made them feel good and firearms to catch even more people. Though they seemed to grow stronger in the short term, they were unaware of the bigger picture. Every human being they gave away contributed to the strengthening of those who would become their ultimate enemies, eventually leading to the loss of their own lands. You might wonder why Europeans didn't intervene in Africa directly at first. The reason was disease. Malaria and yellow fever were the greatest threats. A European's life expectancy in Africa was less than a year. This prevented physical intervention in the continent for a long time. Life wasn't entirely hopeless for the first arrivals at the plantations. After working for 7 years, some managed to own enough land for themselves. In fact, one of the first people to turn an employee into a lifelong slave was Anthony Johnson, who was a black. In that era, many wanted to employ a class of people indefinitely, but colonial constitutions didn't yet have such a regulation. In 1676, a group of villages on the borders of Virginia and North Carolina were being raided by natives. The villagers conveyed their grievances to the leader of colonial government, William Berkeley, but received no response. Tired of the raids, the people organized under the leadership of Nathaniel Bacon and attacked native villages. When the administration declared Bacon and his followers as rebels, Bacon quickly marched on Jamestown and captured it. Meanwhile, Berkeley, who was elsewhere, crossed the river with his army and attempted a counterattack. After failing, he fled. The city was looted by the rebels, and the rebellion spread. Blacks and whites were on the verge of achieving great success under a common cause. During this process, Bacon contracted dysentery and died shortly after. The rebels quickly dissolved, leaving the field to Berkeley. After returning to the city, he had the rebel leaders hanged and re-established his rule. The colony immediately made constitutional arrangements, basing slavery on a foundation of lineage and color. A foundation of lineage and color. From then on, if your mother was a slave, you were also a slave. The desire to bring some Africans as breeding stock to create stronger slaves was a sign that they didn't see them as human beings. Even for those who were baptized, their new religion couldn't be the savior. In the sugar plantations, the life expectancy of a slave was only 7 years. To maximize profit, plantation owners worked slaves until they collapsed. If someone caught their limb in a machine due to the exhaustion, it was immediately amputated with a sharp tool kept on hand, just so the machine could keep running without clogging. This is a terrifying reality of why man is evolved to man. The increasing demand for cocoa and coffee in Europe drove the demand for sugar, and this bloody system was fueled by those years. Owners were satisfied with their profitable business. They had amassed fortunes that would last for their generations. Those luckier than the ones who died were the ones who managed to escape. They threw themselves into the dense forest at the first opportunity, succeeding in hiding where patrols couldn't find them and forming communities. Here they synthesized their own religions with Christianity, creating a new culture and faith. These tribes, called Maroons, exhausted the British colonies with guerrilla tactics. The most legendary of the Maroon leaders was Nanny of the Maroons in Jamaica. The Africans loved her deeply. She was both a mother and a leader to them. She participated in raids alongside the men and treated her people justly. The raids worked, and the British eventually wanted to negotiate. Under her leadership, they signed a treaty and won their freedom. Her people still tell her story as a legend today. Controlled the slaves more easily. Europeans appointed overseers from among them, empowering them with certain privileges. They were also called drivers. These drivers reported any signs of organization to their superiors. Otherwise, they were immediately punished and stripped of their privileges. The fact that the person wielding the whip was of their own race caused deep mental trauma, and the knowledge that their own children would be born into slavery and suffer the same pain wounded them deeply. To keep their hope alive while working, they sang spirituals and gospel music, the first foundation of the jazz and blues styles that would later become cornerstones of American culture. And if you ask me, it is the one of the most tragic events. European merchants became even more brutal in the 1700s. The fact that their cargo was insured led to total apathy. For example, out of fear that water on the ship would run low, they threw black people into the sea. The most infamous case was the Zong Massacre of 1781, which resulted in the deaths of 133 people. After this event, thinkers in Europe who valued reason and ethics opened slavery and European morality to debate. Following the French Revolution, France abolished slavery, though only for a short time. Furthermore, Thomas Clarkson traveled through British colonies to draw attention to slavery in Europe, bringing back instruments of torture to show the public the atrocities being committed. In France, Aberrainel cried out that what was happening was contrary to the existent and fundamental principles of humanity. The fruits of these efforts began to be harvested, albeit late. By the 19th century, the arrival of steam engines changed the system, reducing the dependence on human labor. In 1807, the slave trade was banned by Britain, though the concept of slavery remained. Finally, after the Civil War in America, it was completely abolished on a constitutional level in 1865. The exploitation of human labor by the triangular trade and the building of its entire dynamic upon this foundation made Europeans powerful. Today, do you think slavery has been completely abolished, or has it merely been adapted to the present day with improved conditions? I look forward to your comments and likes. Also, if you like videos like this, you will also love my other content. Take a look. Wishing to meet in a better future. Goodbye.